My father and I would go fishing, and we would put our canoe in at Red Bridge, and we would come down the Medexique River, and we would get out in Woodstock. You can no longer paddle from Red Bridge, New Brunswick, to Woodstock on the Medexique River because it is so full of Eurasian watermilfoil. So that's scary. The St. John River is a major source. And if we don't do clean, drain, dry, it's going to get into our lakes, and your lakes are going to be the same.
Eurasian watermilfoil is an aquatic plant that changes the nutrient dynamics in the waterways, and it kind of clogs them up, makes them not so good for recreation and things like that.
They've also seen it through zebra and quagga mussels. The way that they're different than a native mussel, they just attach to whatever, so you can't even walk on the lake bottom. If you have fire departments that have dry wells and they're taking water out of a lake, zebra and quagga mussels now are clogging dry wells. So they're seeing the negative impacts just on recreational and also on the environment and municipal.
So the New Brunswick Invasive Species Council is a nonprofit organization working to protect New Brunswick's economic, environmental, and recreational interests from the threat of invasive species. Our 5 behavioral change programs are Play Clean Go, Clean Drain Dry, Don't Let It Loose, Buy Local, Burn Local, and Plant Wise. So each of those addresses an avenue that invasive species arrive into an area, and so people can look into those and kind of see what different actions are associated with each of those programs to reduce the spread of invasive species.
The everyday person who is a beach goer, who enjoys swimming, who enjoys just going out for a paddle, is going to have a harder time because currently we have pretty pristine waters. There's some freshwater mussels, but there's not really a real risk for us cutting our feet or having a hard time swimming through things. But once we have all these razor sharp tiny little mussels on the ground, we're not going to be able to enjoy things like we used to.
Or if you enjoy doing sport fishing, some of these invasive species can really reduce the sport fish population, so you won't be able to do that anymore.
Taking care of our waterways takes care of our playground. This is where we hang out, this is where we play. So I compare it to a sports field, you know. Do you want to be going and playing on a sports field full of garbage and things you don't want there, or do you want it to be nice and clean and enjoyable? I think the biggest thing about awareness is realizing that we all play a part in it. And it's very important, whether it's a paddleboard, a powerboat, or a sailboat, they all can spread these invasive species. And the 3 simple steps of clean, drain, dry can really help mitigate that risk.
The choices that you make when you're moving between water bodies with your boat or your kayak affect that system. So if you're moving from a contaminated system and you move to a lake 2 kilometers inland, there's potential that you're bringing a new invasive species that has never been in that system before to that area. So the average individual, if you're just consciously checking your boat, you're practicing clean, drain, dry, you're telling your friends and your neighbors about it, because our biggest tool really at the end of the day, yes, we say clean, drain, dry is important and you practice that as an individual and you should, but it's like telling other people that they should care too. Because if people don't know, then people don't care until it's too late, and then we're playing catch up, right? And it's hard to play catch up when something, especially in the aquatic realm, is introduced somewhere. Because it's water, it's all connected.
You know, ecosystems exist in a balance, and we are throwing off the balance when we introduce new species, and we can't even quantify all of the impacts that may have. And there's just the intrinsic value of an ecosystem being what it is, and as we change that, we're modifying all of the parts in connected ways that we can't always tell. It starts with, being informed. So, staying tuned in with what the New Brunswick Invasive Species Council is saying. Following their advice when they're asking you to clean, drain, dry, or they're asking you to follow certain protocols to make sure you're not moving things around. But also, if you want to take it a step further, learning what these things look like so that you can see them, and maybe there are actions for certain things when there's new introductions that if you report them and communicate them because you know what they are, then we can help reduce the spread. Our actions matter, and we can actually prevent new introductions, and we can protect our aquatic ecosystems.
They can't catch big fish like us, but they can wash their boat, can't they?